Jon Jones, when we were in college together, and he was in the UFC. I was still at Cortland. We went to school at SUNY Morrisville. That's where I first met him. I transferred out the next year, and I went to Cortland. And somehow, some way, I messaged him on MySpace, and he's training right down the block from my college. And then I hit him up like, yo, I see you doing this grappling stuff and the fighting. Like, I always thought it was cool. Yeah. I think I could be good at this. Can I check it out? How can I check it out? And he was like, I'm training here. I was like, bro, I go to school right here. I was like, he was like, come on down. I came down. He was like, he dropped the M-bomb, but he's like, man, you're not going to show up. Yeah. I was like, I bet. I showed up the very next day, and I haven't stopped training since then. But I would see this man a week before his fight, him at the bar, at Mooney's, or the Dark Horse, going nuts. And in my head, I was very like, no sex, no drinking, no smoking. And I just thought the way of like Tyson and Ali and those guys, like, that's what they said. So don't do it if you want to be a champion. I'm like, okay. And then I would see him. I'm just like, I don't get it. And then that weekend, he would just murder a guy on international TV. I was like, he's doing something right. So I went from like cold turkey to like 6 weeks. Nothing changed in my fights.
You're like, oh, 4 weeks. Do a little bit more. Let me do a little more.
And then I got to 2 weeks, and I was like, all right. Yeah. It's all mental, baby. It's all mental. Just put the damn work in and you're good.
That's the one thing I will say. Like, I just now started experimenting with marijuana, weed, right? And I, at first, like, because I watch my wife do it all the time. And I'm like, we first got there, I was like, if you're gonna be with me, you can't smoke weed. You have to stop it now. She goes, fine, I'll stop. And then I was like, we had our shit together. She's working, we're working. She goes, babe, can I please just smoke weed, please? I was like, fine, but I'm gonna watch you. I'm gonna watch you.
Wait, why?
Because growing up, my mom never smoked. Didn't know my dad until I was 30. So the stigma of marijuana when I was a kid was like, it's so bad for you, it's horrible, da 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 da. And I'm like, okay. I'm never gonna do it, right? So I watched my wife. I was like, I'm gonna watch you smoke, and then she's like, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, are you high right now? She goes, no, not yet. I'm like, okay. Are you high now? She goes, yeah, I'm high. And I'm like, okay. I'm all sitting there. I'm like, hour and a half goes by. I'm like, are you still high? She goes, yeah, I'm still high. She's just sitting there chilling. We're having a good conversation, and I'm like,
that's it?
Are you still high? She goes, yeah. And then hour later, I'm like, you still high? She goes, yeah. No, she goes, no, I'm not high anymore. And I was like, what? It's like, that's it? She goes, yeah, I'm done. I'm like, no crash, nothing changed. Yeah. And I sit there, I'm like, why is everybody making out marijuana's fucking bad? And so now, fast forward, I'm 37. I'm working in the yard. Desi's out on the front porch, taking a couple of hits. And I'm out there and I'm like, I'll look in the ring. I was like, who's on the front porch? I see her sitting up like this. And I was like, God, it looks so easy. Just so it's so painless. I'm like, I'm going to try. I go there and it's like, let me have some. She goes, are you sure? Are you sure? I'm like, you just give me something. I was like, okay, that's fine. I walk around. I'm pulling big ass trees out of the fucking ground. And she goes, are you fucking pulling trees? And I was like, yeah, look at it. And the next day I went to the gym. I did like 12 rounds. Fucked everybody up. And I was like, this is a PED. This is what this fucking is. And I called my coach. I was like, dog, this shit is phenomenal. It's a PED. I'm faster. He goes, No, you're not. You probably got good rest. And for me, it's something that I told one of my second dads. He goes, son, I'm sorry that you had to wait till you're 38 to experiment. He goes, I experimented when I was 14. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I'm like, good for you.
Yeah. It's nice, man. It's completely different. And I think a lot of people, for their insecurities or whatever, they put these stigmas on things, but I think if it's not harming you, there are some side effects. Like,
of course,
there's going to be some people commenting like, "Oh, but what about the people who get schizophrenia?"
My brother.
Some people, it's not for everybody. Yeah. But that's why you have to know yourself and know your limits and go from there.
It's just like alcohol, right? People are like, "Oh man, I can't," Me and you could both sit here and drink this delicious rum, which we are going to do this, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be fine. Wake up next morning, go train. There's some people out there who rely on it, right? And we're just not those people. So you got to, like you said, know yourself. I come from a background where my brother, he has schizophrenia and bipolar, and it opened the gateway a lot earlier in life from what the doctor said because he was smoking marijuana. And that's why it always kept me away from it. Another thing that kept me away from it. But I was like, you know what? I've done edibles before. I've been fine. So I'd rather just try it, right? You only get one life, and That's one thing my sister did. My sister, before she died, she goes, I've done LSD, mushrooms. And she goes, I want to experience every fucking thing this earth can bring to me. And I was like, bitch, you crazy. And I was like, I'm not fucking doing that. Okay, let's segue. Okay, I feel that's the one thing that we have a hard time in mixed martial arts is champions don't get enough time to actually celebrate their wins. Right? It's like if you win NFL, you win a Super Bowl, you at least have you have at least 4 to 5 months just to chill before anything else, before you start spring practice, anything like that. Granted, this is football and this is mixed martial arts. So when you win a belt and you defend it, it's like, all right, Aljo, hey, MMA junkie here. Hey, good job today. You look real good out there. Is there any time we want to get back into the game?
You sound like Big John.
Yeah, Big John. And you're like, you know what? I literally just got done fucking fighting. I haven't got a chance to even have sex with my wife. But I don't. It's like
number one.
Who's next? But you already know. It's who's next. You don't get a chance to be like, hey, I just won. I'm stepping away from the sport. I'll be back when I'm ready to be back. Like me and Michael were literally just talking about this. He goes, why isn't Bo Nickel fighting more? And I was like, because it's up to the athletes get to choose when they want to fight. If they don't pressure you,
not
right?
a champ, though.
Don't fucking matter, Michael.
Nah, I respect Bo Nickel for fighting when he's ready to fight because we are still people. We have other things that we want to do. Like, what's the point of accomplishing all of this on an international platform, getting the notoriety, making the money, and then not being able to enjoy it?
I agree.
Isn't that the reason why we did this? Just to say, you think we want to just be robots and fight every single weekend? Mm-hmm. Like, that sounds cool and all, but this isn't Fight Club. Like,
yeah.
I would like to go home and enjoy myself and enjoy a nice cocktail and just relax, party a little bit. I don't do any hardcore drugs. I smoke weed, occasionally mess around with psilocybin.
Yep.
And, take a little trip here and there. Once in a blue, maybe like once, twice a year.
Yeah.
And I drink.
Yeah.
And I'm very open about it. It's one of my vices, but it keeps me sane.
Yeah.
Just like when we would wrestle, we'd compete, we'd do a crazy tournament, hard week of training. Then that weekend, as soon as the tournament or the do meet was over, me and all the wrestlers are just going absolute nuts in college. Nuts. We were menaces. I remember when I became an All-American my first year as a junior, 133. I took fourth. To wrestle for third and fourth was just something I just never even thought was even possible.
Yeah.
I never even went to states.
Yeah. If you never went to state, you
this is my moment.
Yeah, exactly.
So I went, I lost the last match, which I was pretty pissed about. It was a D1 transfer. My junior and senior year, I lost to a D1 transfer my very last match of both seasons. And I was like, why can't you just stay D1?
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. And I lost by a point in both matches, which I'm even more bummed about. Because they're D1, so in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm not supposed to win. But then when I realized I could win, I'm just like...
You're hanging with them. You're like, what the fuck?
I'm like, oh, you guys are just like me. You're human. You're human. But then after I went, I All-American, I go home, I get shit-faced, bro. Blasted. We get weird. We just get nuts in Cortland. And I'm doing like drop steps. There's people recording and telling me about what I'm doing. I'm like very vaguely remember any of this. Screaming, I'm a fucking All-American! I'm an All-American! Just crazy, man. So it's like we want to release sometimes and just be human.
Yep.
I know some people don't drink, but I do.
Yeah, and there's something wrong. That's your, like you said, that's your vices. Yeah. And I think I started to enjoy that part of the tail end of my career once I saw, my sister pass away, and I was like, why am I being so perfect? Like, I'm so, should I be perfect? I can't drink. I'm in training camp. Then I was like, you know what? Fuck this. If I have 1 beer or 2 beers and I lose this fight because of those 2 beers, that's fucking stupid. Like, that's retarded. I was like, that's not how it should be. And I think for people to enjoy themselves, however it may be, whether it's smoking weed, drinking alcohol, doing mushrooms, shit.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that a little bit too. And I said the same thing. It's like, if I lost because of 1 drink, I deserve to lose. Yeah. I didn't deserve to win. Like, I don't think that one thing changes an entire training camp. No. Unless it's in the back of your mind. If you're one of those guys where you get weird like that, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Like for me, if I have a great sparring day,
You deserve to treat yourself.
I'm going to treat myself in the middle of camp. And I'm going to have 1 to 3 drinks.
Yeah.
I'm going to knock out early. And I wake up and I feel like, yo, I'm ready to go again.
Yeah.
Like not spar, but I'm ready to train. Like I feel fresh.
You feel good. You feel like it's almost like a reset. Like, hey, you know what? You're still enjoying life.
Yeah.
Right? That's the worst thing that I always hated in being in training camp is that you basically cut off all the outside world. Nothing else exists besides the fight. Like, granted for me, you know, I'm taking care of the kids, I'm taking them to the YMCA and all that other shit. But as far as going out and having dinner with the friends or having a drink or whatever, it's like, no, that shit doesn't exist. Now, when you actually do it, it's like, oh, I'm just getting ready to fight and enjoying my best life.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys enjoyed that clip and you want to check out the whole video, click right here. And if you guys want to see other clips from this channel, click right here. Enjoy.